Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Local Live Show. As I was saying, it makes a relief anyway to be back. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my monologue. And here's what making headlights. As I was saying, story someone stopped in Temple Bar from the Irish Independent. That's breaking news out of Temple Bar in Dublin. An English tourist has been stabbed. Police have investigated, and the tourist condition is not yet confirmed. We'll dig into what's happening, possible motive, and reaction. Reopening of Dublin Airport terminal after security. Sky News reports that the terminal at Dublin was excavated during a security incident, but is now being reopened. Details are still coming in. This means delays and uncertainty. Sky News, local infrastructure and service warning from RTE residents in the country of Dublin, Kildare and Wicklow are being urged to conserve water this coming weekend. A major pipeline repair is planned. And independent Wicklow and District News. More than 5,000 ESB customers in Wicklow were forced to go without power after a major fault. Local shops and bank branches had to shut temporarily. Independent planning and development issues. Also in the Wicklow People, sanction a development of a protected church in Wicklow has been approved despite local authority. Planning law and community voice independent. Other headlines: UK, Canada, Australia from the Irish Times and the Sky News, British Canada and Australia formally recognise Palestine as a state. It's a diplomatic shift which potentially implicates both in the Middle East and in how Western governments approach. The Irish Times also multiple road deaths and serious injuries reported have been struck on the M8, also accidents in Cork and Tipperary, also a reminder of the fragile life and the need for caution on the road. And as I was saying, I have a lot of things to analyse on the news. And with the airport security incident, these kind of scares often leads to overreaction, but also exploit weak points. I look at what airports can do, communicate better, and keep passengers calm. The water supply warning in Wicklow is something people may not take serious until they are caught off guard. We should talk about how much water people have stored. And the recognition of Palestine is symbol, yes, but as always, the reaction from domestic politics follow likes will be key. Local power outage and planning controversial as planned. The church development case shows tensions between heritage protection and development need. And Wicklow GEA, I don't have a full, fresh Wicklow GEA result tonight, but I'll flag the championship season. Clubs will be going up, and bans, suspension, and fixture draws are coming to the fore. If there's a big result over the weekend, I'll have you in full. That's your roundup for now. And I was saying I'll be going through the Brave People news as well. And as I was saying, this is a mainly thing I seem to be doing every week now. Monday news. Maybe it's because the Gaelic things are in, and I just wrote a little script there. I thought I'd put it into thing. I did. I hope you enjoyed my monologue. It was did go out there early on, and I'm just editing my episodes now. So I did have. I was looking at the Brave People actually. There's quite a good bit of news. It just says what it does say on the opening thing there. Council denies plan to stop 3,000 homes. A reporter claimed there were plans to zone large blocks of land set aside for full story on page 2. Now, I don't want to go fully into that. It just says we do not include any. That's actually, this is about the Cliff Walk on page 3. They do not include any works on the Cliff Walk. Aerodern is planning a significant intervention of 5 vulnerable locations along the same 600 kilometres of track that runs from Merrion Gates in South Dublin and all the way to Wicklow Harbour, including Braehead. So there is a few plans there in thing, and then it just says more about the land, I was saying, council reports that land for 3,000 is rezoned. I see Michael Mial Martin as well was talking about it when he was stopped on the street. The report published in the Sunday Business on Sunday prompted a furious reaction from Taoiseach, who said he was shocked and vowed the government would intervene. I can comprehend how people are disowning land and is unsuitable for houses. We are running out of patience. So I saw that on the news myself, and there's quite a lot of things on the news that were saying. And if you were to go into it, and then the other thing then is councils may sell housing stock to fund repairs. That's move may be necessary to fix the state and overdue works. And then there's a story there on page 4. I see man to abseil down Dublin landmark for dad who died after 26 heart attacks. A brave man who has signed up for Epsel down one of Dublin's tallest landscape is taking the challenge to honour his late father who suffered some 26 attacks and 3 strokes before he died at the age of 54. So that's the other news, and that's on page 4. And then on page 6, I see more about the lotto. Wicklow Lotto players become first to win life-changing Euro Dream prizes. I think it's 20,000 every month for 30 years. I would heap at that sum of money. It's really a great sum of money, and more people should do the lotto in a way. It's really makes you think. And then Postmaster, then more about the Spray Central actually. Applications, I see the opening a loft license on actually the empty retail units at Bray Central Shopping. Still no words in the cinema, and I don't know much about it myself, but that's then the latest news then on this. I'm not gonna. I did it quicker last week, and there's quite a good few things to talk about on the Bray people. That's the main news then on the front page, and then Bray Wonders conflict dispatched by League Leaguers, Dundalk 3, Bray Wonders 1. But Bray Wonders won this week, which is they're still on third spot as far as I know. And it just says this was last week's Bray people actually. Heffernan unhappy with Bray in limp defeat to Dundalk. That's according to the manager then. So I will talk further about Bray Wonders, but they're still on third spot and they're still in the playoff position as far as I can think, and it's good news for Bray. And then the Gaelic games, there was quite a few matches there last week, and Avondale it was 2-14, Lara 1-13. So that was the score. Actually, I was at that match. It was a terrible day, but it was great football. And then the other match that was played last Sunday was Baltinglass and Tinnahealy, and Baltinglass just won it in extra time, which did thing. And then the match the day before, it was AGB 111, Carnew Emmets 15 points. So it was good reading, and the main scorers then on that were Ben Brosnan 4 points, 12 points altogether. Conan McGray 4 points, and AGB, Porgy Kavanagh 3 points, Brian Hurley 2 points, and Paul Moore. So they were all in it. And then it just says more then about the match. Carnew boss Gray hails team pose in clutch moments. And Baltinglass manager Hayes says 2023 to Demons, but his team is looking to exercise them. A broken group at the start of the year. Baltic Laughs have fought their way back to the final. So, and then more about that match then, as I was talking about, Baltinglass gain revenge over Tinnahealy, but the quest remains unfinished. It was Baltinglass 2-16, Tinnahealy 13 points. So as far as I know, the county final is, I think, next week, next Sunday, and it's Baltinglass and Carnew, so it makes there'll be previews there. I'll be previewing the match probably myself next week. I plan to make a podcast next week, and I just thought I'd come back with another podcast. It kind of cheers me up when I do a podcast, and the news is fairly bleak at the moment in America. You see, Jimmy Kimmel was cancelled. Well, he probably come back. Donald Trump is looking at all the news feeds, and You can't say anything in America at the moment on a chat show. You could get cancelled. So I don't have to watch myself here. But that's the good thing about him. I've been talking about Donald Trump for a long time, but uh, his UK trip seemed to go well. In terms of everything else that has there. I just thought I'd mention it anyway. Donald likes me to mention him, and so his trip went well. He's still talking about tariffs. Israel war is still very bad and not letting in any aid. And so that was the main thing then. And they recognized Palestine, three countries there, as I'm saying on my news line there. And it is, I will be going further through that in this podcast. So I thought you enjoyed the Brave People news. So then the Irish Times, I see on the front of the Irish Times, the news isn't any bleaker. As I'm saying, it's you wouldn't want to be in Ireland much these days. The terrible things that's happening. It just says what I said there in my monologue. English tourist in hospital after being stabbed in Temple Bar. Man in his 20 allegedly assaulted on Saturday night in popular tourist spot. I don't know what the world is doing. It was coming to violence on the street. It's terrible. People being stabbed. People are afraid to go into Dublin, and that's the way I look at it. And then budget was slow growth in expenditure seen in recent years, according to Jack Chambers there. And I'm just going through it quick anyway. Rain forces cancellation of LG Bay tour event with Liam Maguire one shot at lead. And threats to politicians phenomenon. They can no longer be ignored, says Verona Murphy. These threats are referred to, what she's referring to there is violence, the threats like Simon Harris, for example, and things like that. So that's, I'm just going to a quick to nose. And Russian military planes entered airspace over Baltic Sea on Sunday, German Air Force says. So Mr. Putin is taking his law into his hands. He's doing things he shouldn't be doing. Mr. Putin is a real dictator and he has to be stopped, I think. He has to be arrested, he has to be stopped, and so does the man in Israel. We just have to do it, and no more bullshit. No, Mr. Trump has to get tough on him. Mr. Putin is making fool of Mr. Trump, and I don't like it. I may be against Trump in everything he does, but I simply don't like it. And that's the way I look at it, and that's my monologue. That's well, it's not monologue; it's news. So, and then as I go through the main things, then on the RTE website, before I get out of here, give you a break on on a Monday. It just says UK, Canada, and Austria recognise Palestine, which I said. So it's good news for many people, I think. And Trump vows to defend Baltic state if Russia escalates. That's according to the news there. US President Donald Trump said he would defend Poland and ballistic states in case of escalation from Russia. Asked whether he would help defend the EU members if Russia intensifies, Mr. Trump told reporters, yeah, I would. Estonia has requested an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council tomorrow. So that's the basic news then, the news that's coming out about Donald Trump, the latest news actually. And then more about O'Connor. I see she won a medal. What a year has been the life of Tapler and Kate O'Connor. Spring into the summer brought European. They were clearly a progression from O'Connor's 14th place. So she finished second, and I was just looking at myself. It was a great achievement. Well done. What can I say? I was listening to it actually on the radio there as I was coming back from the match. So that's the way I live. That's the way I look at that. And then on Twitter, it says more about the match actually. Well, the match I was at was Bray Emmets, which they did again. It's Bray Wonders. It's Bray Emmets actually in and Carnew in the county final in the hurling. And it just the final score then were in the Bray match. It was Bray 23, Avondale 9 points, and Christy Morehouse done a good bit of scoring. He was number 11, and it was fairly one-sided match in every way, and the scores were good. I noticed the ground play in hurling was good as well. If I am into hurling big time, I love the game. I love looking at. So congratulations, Bray, after winning that. So, and then the other match was Carnew. I didn't give that on the Bray people because it wasn't listed actually. That was last week's match, but it was there was good a few. There's a good few players there, and then the result in the other match that was played before the match was Akram 114, Western Gales 2-9. So that was also a good match. I enjoyed that looking at that, and it's then as I was saying, Carnew won. Well, I think it was 4-10. It's not. I was trying to get the score here, but it was 4-10. Michael Sargent will probably have more about it, and it just it was good anyway. The competitive, and I was trying to get the final score if I could get it. Actually, I have the final score in yesterday's match. It was Carnew Carnew is 4-10, Kiltegan 111. So it makes good rate. It will be a competitive final, I think. Carnew and Bray. Carnew will be up for this match, I think, in terms of fitness and everything, because once they score 4-10 in that match, it makes convincing things. So that's then the way I look at it. That I just thought I mentioned that it was a good match. So my podcast this week will be slightly longer. I have a monologue which I done yesterday, and I hope you enjoy my podcast. And I'd like to I had an interview there last week. It was interesting stuff. I'd like to thank the guest. It was Matt actually here, who an interesting story, and so I plan to interview him again actually. So I'll just email him there. So I hope you enjoyed my show here today. As I was saying, it's not getting it's getting hard in the world. So and even in Ireland, price of food, price of everything. So we just have to keep up the chin. And so I hope you enjoy my podcast. I'll be back next week probably with another show. And goodbye for now.